Sorry, that's just anti-trans.
Study exposes trans activists are the real bullies. I'm interested in this. I don't know how a study would show this, but I guess I should be open-minded. Got arielle, scarcella. We will see. And listen, I have no love lost with these kind of activist types. Lots of them have been nasty to me in lots of different ways. But I don't think I'd say they're the real bullies. I think there's like bullies on all sides, honestly. Let's have a look. Let's see.
People say that I'm punching down, but I'm punching directly across. Welcome to another psychological deep dive. We've been told that queer kids are bullied relentlessly to the point of sometimes offing themselves. That if we don't validate everyone and everything, we're super hateful, big.
I mean, there probably is like an element of truth to this as well. That's the problem. And some of those people, they're not being done justice. When people exaggerate and act like their cases are like basically everyone, is really not true. Like Chase Strangio had to admit that there wasn't this epidemic of trans kids killing themselves. We've had the UK government look into it and find similar, so.
And we're horrible people.
It's because of people like you. It's because of
I support the trans community. My friend Colin Wright wrote this recently in an article citing a new Finnish study that proves us to be correct. This data flips the transgender bullying narrative on its head. A massive study finds that trans-identifying teens, especially those who identify as non-binary, are more likely to bully others than be bullied. He writes, the narrative is grounded in a psychological framework known as the minority stress model. According to this framework, the mental health struggles seen in trans-identifying youth aren't due to underlying psychological issues, but are instead caused by social rejection, stigma.
Yeah, again, this is another thing. I'm sure there's an element of truth to this. But the way that it gets used, especially the way that people use it to like lash out at other groups that they see as like oppressive, irrespective of where anyone in that actual group is oppressing them in any way.
And lack of affirmation. This model has become widely accepted in academic and activist circles. It assumes that trans-identifying youth are mentally healthy by default and that any emotional distress is how society treats them or judges them, but the model.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not true. It's not true that all of the stuff that trans people deal with, all the adverse situations are because of like social shit. We try and narrow down the massive suicide rate, if there even is one, which I'm led to believe there probably is a higher suicide rate. We even narrow things like that down to social issues. When I'm sure some people do kill themselves over that. I'm sure plenty of people do experience. I've experienced people being mean to me as well, you know what I mean? The difference is I'm an adult, I can handle it. I don't give a fuck. But people try and make it a single issue thing when there's a reason you call that a fallacy. People kill themselves for so many different reasons. Lots of trans people have other mental health issues. Lots of people try their best, but realize that actually trans isn't helping them. And they might just be shit out of ideas. What else can I do? Fuck, you know? There's so many things to consider.
Model is unscientific because it is both circular and unfalsifiable. Any signs of distress are taken as—
And like, it is very true that people use minority stress as an excuse to go after other people. And that is never okay. If anything, that just makes it worse. If you're going to be like bullying other people, people are more likely to bully you, you know what I mean?
as a proof of victimization, while any suggestion that mental health problems or other social difficulties might precede a transgender identity is dismissed as transphobic. And we have been fed this bullshit for years. They are oppressed, therefore they're the victims. Tons of videos like this have been promoted to us.
Like, truthfully, especially if you're like white, American, fucking Western country, native, living in, like, you're probably not oppressed. Doesn't matter if you're trans. Like, if you're disabled, I'd be more likely to fucking accept it, to be honest, because you have actual problems. Yeah, this is the study she's talking about. Transgender identity, especially non-binary identity, is associated with both being bullied and perpetrating bullying. So yeah, you kind of wonder. Either they're being bullied first and then bullying back, or they're bullying first and then being bullied back. You're never really going to know either way. I mean, I can buy this. You probably are more likely to be bullied as one of those people. You probably are more likely to lash out at others. Oh, and then non-binary identity most strongly associated with involvement in bullying. Transgender identity is also more strongly associated with perpetration of bullying than subjection to bullying. Wonder how you measure that. Yeah, I do wonder. Like, listen, I'm not just going to look at this and because it kind of confirms some stuff that I think, which is that some of these people are really fucking nasty. Like, I'm not just going to look at this and be like, oh, okay, it agrees with me, it must be perfect. Too many people look at studies and what they do is, if they agree with it, they don't do any analysis whatsoever. If they don't agree with it, they move hell and earth trying to fucking find the problems with it so they can find excuses to completely disregard it. That is not how you deal with this kind of stuff.
as truth. Let's talk about the study. The aim of this study was to compare involvement between bullying, transgender, and mainstream youth among middle and late adolescents in a general population sample. Out of 138,829 students divided between two different schools, gender was used as the independent variable with cisgender as the reference category. Out of the 139,000 students, both experiences of
I mean, you listen to people on TikTok, you listen to people on social media that are trans, the way they talk about cis people, the way they talk about anyone that thinks differently to them. Is that really any different from what they're saying plenty of these people are doing to them? Isn't like the real moral of the story? Perhaps you should just like treat people that are different from you with basic dignity and respect. Whether you're so-called cisgendered, whether you're transgender, whether you're non-binary, whether you're gay or whatever the fuck. There's a problem on all sides, I think. I don't want to discount how like trans people are subject to bullying because that is the case. There isn't any getting around that. But then the problem is we use that as an excuse to become toxic. And that doesn't work. That leads to things like this happening, where now you're the assholes and it's like, well, shit. I guess my overarching point is always going to be kind of everyone sucks in a way. And that probably isn't very satisfying, but hey, listen.
Being bullied and perpetrating bullying were more commonly reported by transgender youth than cisgender youth. And among all the trans kids, the non-binary ones were the most guilty. And if you think about it, it makes sense, right? It wasn't always, at least when I was in school, right? Growing up in the mid-90s and the late 90s, it wasn't always the fat kid that got bullied. It wasn't always the gay kid that got bullied. It was the kid that had zero self-esteem. If the fat kid was popular and funny, like nobody bothered him. But that emo girl over there in the corner, the one that like is depressed and thinks she's non-binary, yeah, like that's an easy target. And because things that are usually internalized or externalized, you're usually more than likely to shit on others as well. How they are bullying, lying.
Someone's coming to New York Pride trying to say, why are we okay with this conservative influencer trying to say that transness is a choice?
You're hateful, you're voting out of hate.
It is a choice. What the fuck is going on here?
Racism.
Listen, I don't care. I'm down with like gender nonconformity and stuff. But you should actually look good. You should have an aesthetic. None of this goes together. What are you doing?
Out of bigotry, you're not a part of the community. Okay. You're excluded from the community because you're
I mean, remember just last month when they lied to
Oh, I thought gatekeeping was bad. Hang on. That outfit, bro. Yeah, it looks fucking insane. I like a bit of androgyny. There are some people out there that look amazing. Kind of blending the masculine and the feminine. Then it kind of slowly drips down, trickles down to the people that don't know what the fuck they're doing. And before long, androgyny sucks now because all you see is like shit like this. Yeah, the purple knee-high socks, where the purple is a different shade to like this lilac. You've got this kind of granny print looking thing going on. These pink trainers, which don't go with any of this. Rainbow headband, when this is multicolored but not rainbow. You've got the Palestine thing on here. I guess they're at some kind of event. It's going to clash whatever, and it's kind of, there's at least a purpose there. Well, there's like crocheted like bag going on. I mean, I guess if it was just the dress and the bag. Oh yeah, and we got the hair, which looks... Listen, if you still have short hair and you're a male, but you want to look trans, and your idea of looking more feminine is putting like a headband on or something, what you usually look like more than anything else is like when the parents of like a baby, when it's too young for you to really see what the sex is without seeing what's in their pants, which why would you be seeing what someone's baby's got in their pants? You know what I mean? So because it's not really clear and their hair hasn't grown out enough for you to like kind of gender them or whatever, you put like a headband on so they know that it's like a girl and not a boy. That's what this kind of reminds me of, when like these like early trans, these like baby trans still have short hair, so they put like a headband on or something. It just looks infantile, and it looks like you don't own a mirror.
out of bigotry, you're not a part of the community.
Like, what is this beard? Like, what is this doing? If you got rid of like the headband and like the socks and the trainers, and I had a shave, I'd possibly think it was like acceptable, I guess. I don't really understand what this bag is doing, to be honest, either. But like the whole picture is just like awful.
Community. Okay. You're excluded from the community because you're...
And he seems like a piece of shit, no offense.
So you're... I mean, remember just last month when they lied to us saying that President Trump threw a parade for his birthday? When it was literally, it just coincidentally happens that the army was founded on the same day as his birthday.
Listen, we get it. You love Trump. That's very random though, isn't it? What has this got to do with anything? Talking about bullying. Like, okay.
Bullying.
This anger.
What just happened there? Sorry, I haven't seen a lot of these clips. Look like Jim Sterling or something. Freaking Jim Sterling's going around punching people now.
We can just make a
God should say that some of us well.
Anger is probably my primary source of motivation.
You want to call me Fergie?
The thing is, you don't have to leave.
You will lose your bit.
For everything that I do.
Go out, buy a gun.
Cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
It was a call to action or a call to arms.
The mostly peaceful protest.
Least manly thing ever, screaming, "It's
crowd.
Yeah, the flashbang's going off right now. That is because there were several protesters
Is Max gonna come up? Well, no, because no one knows who he is.
who threw things at the officer.
Love bombing.
I accept you for who you are. I love you for who you are.
I hate these people. I actually fucking hate people like this. You don't accept them for who they are. Not even slightly.
And I understand that.
They're constantly randomly filleting Trump out of nowhere. Yeah, right? It's fucking weird. It's okay. You can be a lesbian and like Trump. That's fine. You don't need to like slip his dick in your mouth every video. It's okay, bro. Just talk about the fucking shit. Just put the trans bully study in the bag, you know?
What you're standing for is what you believe in, and this is America. And I'm proud of you for that.
Right.
Because you have the right to do that. Because you
Wait, that wasn't what he was saying earlier. And this is said with like a lot of like anger for being like affirming.
have the free will to do that. And this, for now, because you are a woman, don't forget you are a minority.
Pay attention to the way he is.
Women aren't even a minority. You could say that they're like subjugated or like historically oppressed and stuff like that. Still oppressed to a certain extent. But women aren't a minority.
Says that he loves me and that he respects me and my opinion, and then makes sure to hold me down and say that, you know, you are a victim, you are still a minority, which is the next way that they bully others, playing the victim to gain control. Remember, these people believe that if they are a victim and then a minority, they are oppressed, they can do no wrong. They can get away with ridiculous shit and not be held accountable for their actions.
What the fuck is going on there? You're just assaulting people there. What are you doing?
Also,
this is the problem. How are you going to push like minority stress things when there's so many of these fucking clips everywhere of like trans people and allies going fucking berserk? For like what reason? Someone doesn't think you're a woman or a man? Who fucking cares? Why are you that insecure? Don't forget your own minority is oddly threatening. Yeah.
it turns out that there's a psychological reason why people derail conversations and make it about themselves. Listen to this guy.
So what I think you're seeing here is a high tendency for interpersonal victimhood. This is something that psychologists have come up with. It's a measurable, stable trait made up of 4 components: a personal need for recognition as a victim, a sense of moral superiority based on that victimhood, a lack of empathy for those outside the perceived in-group, and rumination, obsessively replaying past wrongs. That's how identity can become, and often does become, a shield, not just against critique, but against information. The tragedy of tendency for interpersonal victimhood is that it blocks perspective taking. When your identity is built around grievance, you lose the ability to recognize someone else's suffering.
Hence why bullying is so
I can kind of see that.
prominent in these types of people.
Yeah, hence.
This guy on X said, studies have shown leftists are not empathetic. They are less capable of understanding right-wing concerns.
This is a bit cringe. This is like partisan shit. Plenty of leftists are empathetic. Plenty of right-wingers aren't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think usually there are that many like correlations like this along like political beliefs along those lines. You know what I mean?
Rather than vice versa.
Leftists have high neuroticism and mental illness. Well, like all of them. Talk to any leftist, you'll see they lack empathy. Leftism is self-hate that's so extreme they wage a war of vengeance on their healthy friends. I hate this kind of shit, man. This isn't helping, is it? If anything, this kind of undermines the point. Kind of seems like some of your people are actually kind of bullies, you know what I mean? But then if you're going to go and look at fucking idiots on Twitter, this is the kind of level of engagement you're going to get, ultimately.
Empathy being, of course, the capacity to imagine another reality. Talk to any leftist and you'll see why they just can't simply fathom these ideas. What leftists do have is high neuroticism and mental illness. They feel more pain, are sicker, and are more delusional. Leftism is self-hate that is so extreme they wage a war of vengeance on their healthy friends.
I'm just reading this out, unironically, like, come on, be better. Be better than this, please.
Look what happened to Laverne Cox recently. She was canceled because she supposedly dated a MAGA Republican with blonde hair.
Yeah, but can you lay that at all leftists store?
And blue eyes. The left cancel a black trans woman. Like, the left knows no boundaries. Let's just.
Because the right has never cancelled anyone, right? I hate this shit. Like, the partisan shit doesn't help anyone. We're not talking about leftists and rightists. We're talking about, like, trans activists.
Say that.
Real empathy begins the
That's just partisan banter. Well, it's being presented in a video that's supposed to be about, like, a study. And it's supposed to be about, like, oh, we've scientifically proved that these people are the bullies, which isn't really quite the case. But I don't know. There's some weird turns this has taken. There's bits that I agree with. I think this is normal for me. watching Arielle. There's bits I agree with, and there's bits that just go off the fucking chain.
Moment you stop assuming your pain is always the center of the story.
Being controlling is not empathetic.
And at the same time, I do often concede that I think things like trans identity and stuff is conducive to like narcissism, you know what I mean? You're thinking about yourself all the time. You are putting your identity above everything else. It's quite easy to see how it leads that way, you know?
And certainly is a way of bullying one person or a group of people.
Turns out LGBTQIA, Two-Spirit plus premium, whatever you want to call it, is used as a political umbrella in order for the left to gain political control over the culture. And so
Okay, so both sides say the same shit in reverse. Well, you're using it to distract from this, that, and the other, which I have some agreement with, to be honest. You do see like certain like political figures spending an awful lot of time focusing on trans issues, where there are actually plenty bigger things to talk about.
they're really like co-opting my identity, my experience.
Oh shit, I need to stop saying stuff like that. I'm right wing now, I forgot.
Gaslighting, my personal favorite.
Feeling like trans people are a threat to you in a space like a bathroom or a locker room is actually a version of internalized misogyny.
That's complete bullshit. Often it's a case of like trauma. Sometimes bigoted things can be a result of trauma. And arguably you need to kind of tread a bit softly and try and work on that in a way that isn't just shaming that person, because that's only going to make them double down.
If you feel uncomfortable, you are the problem. Telling white people that they are the—
Like internalized misogyny, like no, they just don't want men in their fucking bathrooms. Like, it ain't that deep, bro. Everything isn't internalized misogyny or internalized transphobia or this, that, or the fucking other.
Reason for everyone's issues is a very easy way to bully.
Like, I would question why so many fucking people on TikTok apparently suddenly have like fucking psych degrees, you know what I mean?
Somebody into submission, and also a quick way to get out of being accountable for your actions or your family's personal choices, why they're bullying. Because right now it is cool to hate white people. It's cool to hate straight people. It's cool to hate anyone that isn't a, well, I guess black, trans.
Well, it's not just that it's cool. That is kind of a thing that happens. More than that, there's this kind of mechanism by which people think that is justified because of all this oppression, because of things like intersectionality. The truth is, it really isn't. The truth is, you make yourself look like rank fucking hypocrites when you constantly shit on certain groups, when your thing is supposed to be about anti-racism, anti-sexism, anti-bigotry. If you're truly an anti-bigot, then no, you wouldn't be shitting on like white people constantly.
Like, trans woman isn't even like the epitome of woke now. All of this is considered widely acceptable on left-wing media sites and apps.
There is some truth to this, I will say.
Like TikTok. Meanwhile, of course, the opposite.
The thing is, you get plenty of like more ordinary like leftist types and get them to look at some of the shit that goes on. They'll probably agree with you that plenty of this is like cooked as fuck. And it's the kind of people you get on social media, the kind of people you get on the internet, where certain kinds of people are very overrepresented within certain groups. You'll see the same thing with right-wingers and left-wingers. It's often going to be the more extreme people that are overrepresented on the internet. Whereas most of the normal ones, most of the people with fairly like tame views on one side or the other, whichever way they vote, they probably fucking, they probably think a lot of this shit is fucking cooked, and they probably aren't spending their time on social media. They're out doing actual useful shit, you know?
Opposite is 100% not true. If you even dare point out simple biological reality or facts, you are banned off of TikTok.
Yeah, here's a problem. I do think, I wonder how much, which bearing in mind, I think this is like a bit better for this. But I wonder how much Arielle kind of generalizes how people are on the internet to how people are everywhere. Like, I can't remember what it was, and it's even less the case now. I remember someone talking about how like all the tweets came from like about 1% of the users on Twitter. When you actually think about it, the people that post on Twitter are a very, very small group of people. Yet people will use them to like generalize entire groups constantly, when actually it's like very much the craziest people of different groups. So it's very difficult. Like, you use the internet to generalize a whole group of people, then you're unfairly tiring a lot of people that have plenty in common with those people on the internet, but are nowhere near as extreme, you know what I mean? That is a very dangerous game.
Literally just banned me 3 days ago. You're canceled, demonetized, kicked off of platforms, and whatever white people do, we can't win. This is just one reason why I spoke about why Sydney Sweeney is getting so much hate in my last video. She's getting shit on just—
Oh, the fucking Sydney Sweeney thing. I should find. What was the thing?
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that?
Double denim, by the way. Maybe it's different nowadays. double denim for most of my life has been like the ultimate sin. Fashion-wise, certainly.
But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very jeans.
You see what I...
If you're offended by that, you're a fucking retard. Can I just say?
Just because she's a straight, cis, hot, white woman. You should definitely go and watch those last two videos that I posted after watching this one in full.
It's not the one, it's the one which says, great genes are passed down from parents to kids. Okay, I still don't know why someone would get offended by that one. You see a lot of stuff like, this happened and Twitter reacted. These opinions aren't representative of everyone. Yeah, I fully agree. I fully agree. That is the other side of it. Like, the people being, like, offended by this might not really be representative of anything. It's just, like, retards.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even
I can see why people might complain about it, but I just can't. I just don't give a shit. But like I said, it's possible that maybe the backlash is, like, nothing. People will, like, exaggerate. Oh, the left is, like, losing its shit when it's, like, a handful of morons, you know? So I do see the other side. But, like, truthfully, if you're offended by this, you're a fucking loser. Find anything else to do and think about.
Because got a lot of good points in there. And because of all this white hate, it's why we keep seeing white people, gay or not, taking on all these new identities, these new labels, because they don't want to be viewed as an oppressor. In my opinion, that's how we got fake trans women converting to Islam.
So here's my journey to Islam.
Surely this, like, is this real? Is this real? Come on.
The Quran was just, from the beginning, like, speaking to me so deep in my soul. And so in these moments where I'm feeling so low where I'm dealing with transphobia.
My friend Brad said, at this point, a statistically significant percentage of the LGBT community is just typical straight people who want to seem woke.
I'm a non-binary parent, and this one's for the straight and cis people. Hi, I'm Nathan, and...
I think I've seen this guy before. I really need to watch some of his stuff, because, like, Jesus Christ.
And I'm a queer parent. Well, I'm fortunate, so I've built a little community of queer people.
Another reason why these types of people are bullies, mental health issues. I know everybody saw that one coming, but, like, I have to say, I have to mention it. Mind you, this...
The same, like, sometimes we show people who, like, it's not like this guy's bullying anyone, and then it suddenly gets back to the point. There's a lot of whiplash in this video, I'll say.
This includes almost all of the social media influencers that these kids look up to.
I'm insane in the membrane. Insane in the membrane.
First, I got diagnosed with bipolar and borderline personality disorder.
In the study of transgender patients, the frequency of personality disorders was 81.4%. The most frequent personality disorder was, you guessed it, narcissism. Narcissistic personality disorder at 57%. Of course, many of these people do it for the likes, the clicks, the money, and of course the attention. People even admit to it.
So many people on the internet, I don't know if you get this, but they say you're doing it for the attention.
Stranger danger. What is he wearing? You look so stupid, man. What are you wearing? What is this look meant to be? What is this meant to be? We've got this, like, skirt. Like, the blouse, if it was with some, like, trousers, maybe. Like, black trousers or something. Fucking God knows what these wrist things are meant to be. You've got, like, 3 different versions of, like, goldy beige going on at once. He's looking, like, kind of haggard. These eyebrows are fucking terrible. His eyeshadow looks like it was terribly done. I guess it gets harder as you get older because your skin is, like, more kind of wrinkly. Like, it looks like you couldn't be asked to shave. It looks like you're hungover or something. And you had to slap this on at short notice. It looks like shit.
Internet, I don't know if you get this, but they say you're doing it for the attention.
This is what I mean. Androgyny can be great. These people ain't it.
And that is just a flashing red light about how they were treated. Yes, I'm doing it for the attention. Don't you want some too? Mm-hmm. Don't we all want some? Right?
Yes.
And don't we all deserve some?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This person looks so serious. Yes, Jeffrey. Yes. Oh my God.
To be seen.
To be seen. That's been our theme for today.
It's everything.
Very narcissistic, but okay.
We are taught and sold the lie that inclusion is more...
I just want to be seen for who I really am. Like, okay. No one cares, but sure.
Important than safety. And if you go against this, you are bullied, you're told you're a bigot, you're hateful, and that you're the problem. We see it with immigration. If you're against illegals, you're racist!
Sometimes I wish we'd go back to the time before video and recording technology reached the hands of the average person. Now everyone wants to be the star in their own reality. I mean, surely you'd have to go back an awful long way to predate things like celebrity culture, because it leads to this kind of thing. I think we've been seeing, like, the bones of what's going on now, and everyone wanting to be famous instead of just doing something useful and having a family and shit. I think we've been seeing the bones of that happening for a very long time.
Let my people go! Let my people go!
sports debates. If you're against trans males in female sports, you're transphobic. And even when it comes to identities. Remember the Canadian government allowing like this to happen? When to most normal people, it's clear as day that this is very much a fetish and wanting for it to be enacted around kids. These people are bullies because they actually hate themselves and have no internal sense of morality and no religion to help them form one. And
no religion to help them form morality. Do you need religion for that? If religion ain't gonna help them, then what is? I don't know. I'm a bit suspicious of people that insist that you need a religion to have any kind of moral framework. I think that's the case at all. I think most people's moral framework is from experiences. It's about treat others as you wish to be treated. Which is what many religions say anyway, but it's just fucking obvious. You don't actually need religion to come to plenty of the same conclusions, I don't think.
A lack of self-knowledge. Because like I said in the beginning of the video, we all know that what you feel inside is usually what you project outside.
Is that Ari animosity?
Outside.
Trans people are made, not born. I mean, no one's born trans. I don't believe that at all. Yeah, I'm sure that is animosity. It looks and sounds like them.
Trans people are made, not born. No child.
Jesus Christ, what is going on here? Again, listen, there are some trans people out there that fucking know how to dress, know how to like present. Even if they don't entirely resemble a woman sometimes. They still know what they're doing. They still clearly own fucking mirrors. What is this?
Not born. Trans people are made, not born. No child.
Fucking voice is cracking. Holy fucking shit.
Trans hate. Stop trans hate. During the civil rights movement.
Meanwhile, of course, they gaslight the shit out of us and tell us that we are the self-hating gays because we voted for Trump or voted for a Republican candidate or just for simply disagreeing with them. But data just keeps coming out that agrees with us. Listen to this TikTok that explains it all.
If you feel like you're watching the world go crazy, you're not imagining things. Over the last decade, a media-induced woke reign of...
Listen, I'll say something. I shit on Arielle for like randomly filleting Trump in this video, but like, truthfully, the idea that someone should have to vote a certain way because they're gay, because they're trans, because they're black, whatever the fuck, is like quite a toxic mentality. And listen, it's all about othering people. It's all about pointing at someone who's different than you and shitting on them, whichever way you're coming from. Ultimately. And that's just another way of doing it. Everyone needs to understand that they have the capacity for that kind of shit, and it shouldn't be accepted in any way, really, ideally. But you're never really going to stop people bullying each other, so I don't know.
Of terror gripped the populations of Western nations, creating what Michael Schellenberger aptly describes as mass psychosis. Over the last decade, he writes, Democrats in the media said that those of us who opposed DEI, racial quotas, and open borders had gone far right, but we hadn't. Rather, Democrats in the media had gone far left. We are only now emerging from 10 plus years of extreme...
Again, I don't know how, like, I don't think I believe this, that the right has stayed exactly where they are, and everyone else is like... I do remember the way that shit ramped up under Trump. Again, we get all this like partisan shit. It almost makes it seem to me like some of these people that are this like desperate to like validate their voting choices are a bit actually insecure about who they voted for. Maybe because Trump isn't releasing the Epstein files and is conveniently pretending that none of it exists suddenly. It's okay. Like, plenty of sane people will understand that you have certain perspectives.
Psychopathic gaslighting. Data from the US General Social Survey
it's like so psychobabble. I'm not really down with this, to be honest.
Shows that center and right-wing views have more or less remained the same since the early 2000s, while the left has gone 40 to 60%.
I really do think things have like ramped up on the right as well. A lot of like the Trumpist stuff, like the build the wall stuff, I wasn't really hearing much of that. I think there's been a lot of changes in like the Republican Party, especially during Trump, but hey. I don't have like a source for this or anything, so don't quote me, but I think both sides do this to an extent, and it's cope as fuck.
Further left on cultural issues, and the data continues to back him up.
Yeah, we keep seeing trends of words like racist, privileged, transphobic, all starting to speed up after the year of 2012. When I was in high school, we had tons of friends of different races, contrasting, political beliefs, very different income levels living in New York City, and not one person gave a shit. So with this...
I mean, 2012, how long had most social media platforms been around by then? Not a super long time.
rise in the number of new identities, new fake culture wars, and people who need purpose, all of this new age bullying was born. Most people who bully, if not all of them, are in some type of pain. In this case, I believe the majority of it is mental and emotional pain, not having friends, not knowing who they truly are, not having morals or a good family life. And interestingly enough, like as I was writing this video, I realized that the exact opposite is also true. I think maybe for the first time in history, at least since I've been alive. There are also a ton of people that are super privileged, that come from very wealthy backgrounds, that have very good families, that feel so guilty about all of this, that they make up fake identities to be oppressed and then bully others. Listen to what this therapist has to say about it.
Turning labels into identity. Labels were meant to be for understanding, not a personality, but today people are branding themselves with their diagnosis. And I'll keep saying it, pathologizing normal life.
This is true. Like, Jesus Christ, she shows a lot of people that are like just blatantly like partisan hacks. That at least is something I can get behind. I don't know, I'm supposed to go around being proud that I have like a fucking autism diagnosis from when I was 9. I'm supposed to be proud that I probably have undiagnosed ADHD. I feel embarrassed about a lot of it. I don't want to talk about it. I think the idea that you should be proud of these kinds of things is almost as toxic as like deep shame, you know what I mean?
Struggles. Not every challenge is trauma. Not every difficult person is a narcissist. Not every workplace is toxic.
The left moved extreme left, the right moved extreme right in response. Well, I have no idea if that's true. Someone like Arielle, I don't really trust to like, you know, give this accurately. Because there's people on the other side saying the exact same shit. You know what I mean? I think both sides have become more extreme, I would say. We're seeing more polarization than ever. Is it really that likely that only one side has changed? I don't think that's true.
Toxic just because you don't like your balls. Life is hard sometimes. That doesn't mean it's harming you. But when you pathologize
Okay, there's still like quite a partisan seeming source, but
normal struggles, you rob yourself of the ability to actually navigate them.
I think there is still some truth here.
This obsession with feeling seen, heard, and validated, at some point, we stopped striving for growth and we just started chasing external validation.
This all makes sense. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. If you enjoyed this video.
Yeah, that last one I do feel a bit more. I think she is saying some stuff that I very much agree with.
Give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already. I post videos every
Imagine having a kidney disease pride movement. Yeah, fucking hell. Cancer pride. I mean, listen, if you're a cancer survivor, that's something definitely to be proud of for sure.
Sunday and sometimes Thursdays. I think I'm posting 2 videos every single week this month and next month. Other than that, I will see you guys back here in a few days with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Keep calling out the bullshit.
That was fun. Listen, like I said, I watch Arielle. Any take she gives is like a coin flip with me. Sometimes I agree. Sometimes I disagree. I think his study is quite interesting. I think I'd be wary of like taking something like this and just pointing it at like non-binary and trans people. Clearly there is like problems all the way around. This kind of minority stress thing, I think we need to move away from it, to be honest. We certainly need to stop pretending that it's the be all and end all of everything to do with trans. Because it gets used to like, it gets used to justify toxic mentalities. It gets used to justify bullying. I think that's okay. I see similar with intersectionality, which probably has some uses. I feel very poisoned against it, but I think there's probably ways in which it's used that probably I'm fine with. But at the same time, people just want to add people up like equations. How oppressed is someone? Okay, well, you're not oppressed at all. Based on my scale that you might not even believe in. It might have nothing to do with your actual life, so I'm gonna hate you for it. You know, that kind of shit. Like, that kind of potential for misuse is like very much there. And people will like very happily. I don't have a good example to hand. But there's ways of looking at things that other people will say, oh, you can't do things that way. There's the potential for this and that kind of abuse. But those same people don't see that when they constantly talk about minority stress and use it as an excuse to bully others. Use intersectionality as a reason to shit on certain groups because they're privileged. You know what I mean? Truthfully, anything has like the potential for harm, I would have thought. And if someone will only like acknowledge that in some ways and not others, with some things and not others, then there's likely to be a problem for sure. Yeah, so adolescents' involvement in bullying is common. It is important to remember that bullying is just kind of a thing that happens a fucking hell of a lot anyway. So as much as I think people should consider this kind of thing, it's important not to be just like, oh, well, actually, non-binary people are the real bullies. They certainly get involved in this shit, and they certainly should be thinking about that kind of shit. But like, it's not like there's a one bad type and everyone else is fine, you know. Truthfully, if there's anything to be like learned from this kind of thing, it has to be applied to kind of everyone, right? US-based research indicates transgender youth in school are bullied more often than cisgender peers. Clinical UK-based sample, almost 90% of transgender youth report being bullied. Both sexual minority transgender youth differ from the mainstream by gender expression, not conforming to traditional male and female roles, which could render them susceptible to being bullied. Commonly directed at peers perceived as different. Yeah, this is something that very much goes both ways. And we've very much created the conditions for it, for sure. Youth describe their parents as gender non-conforming, were violently victimized more often than youth describe themselves as gender conforming. Association was stronger among male students. That doesn't surprise me very much. In summary, it seems that transgender youth as a whole are bullied more often than cisgender peers. Amongst transgender populations, bullying is more common among those who present as gender non-conforming. Confounding by internal stress needs to be considered when evaluating associations between transgender identity and being bullied. Gender minority stress and resilience theory posits that gender minority people experience external stress such as discrimination and victimization, but also internal stress relating to internalized transphobia, perceived stigma, predisposing to be constantly vigilant and anticipating discrimination. Mental health problems may in turn further induce negative attribution bias, experience of being bullied, ostracized. The role of mental distress needs to be accounted for in order to reveal possible independent associations between transgender identity and being bullied. Further, being bullied is commonly associated with perpetrating bullying. Those victimized themselves may reactively bully others. Perpetrating bullying may be a way of defending oneself. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've been at both ends of this. Other kids didn't like me, and I felt like I never understood why. Eventually, I started acting improperly towards other people in many different ways. Aggressors often socialize in antisocial groups where delinquency occurs, elevating the likelihood of being victimized themselves. Perpetrating bullying may therefore arise by having been victimized, or vice versa. This also kind of links up with how abuse works. If you've been abused as a child, you're more likely to either go on and experience more abuse throughout your life, or to end up abusing others, for sure. So perpetrating bullying needs to be controlled for. To the best of our knowledge, research has so far not explored bullying perpetrated among gender minority youth. However, Dan et al. Found that transgender youth reported some of the highest perpetration rates of sexual harassment perpetration, as bullying among adolescents often has sexual and heterosexist nature. Similar associations might be expected with bullying perpetration. Elevated levels of bullying perpetration may also have been found among sexual minority populations in some studies, who appear similar to transgender youth when it comes to being bullied. It appears transgender youth are victims of bullying more commonly than cisgender peers, but research has not taken into account of confounding by perpetrating bullying or mental health factors. Yeah, this is very important. You can't just assume that minority stress is the whole thing, you know what I mean? That's when you introduce bias into the thing. That's when you introduce a kind of victim narrative. And then that can lead on to, well, then it's okay to bully back or bully in the first instance, which some people do. The more I'm looking at it, this is about stuff in school. I'm kind of thinking that quite a lot of what Arielle is extrapolating from this is a bit... It's not that she doesn't have any points here. I do think she makes some good points in this video. But we are very much extrapolating it to a different group of people. It does make the link between the video and the actual study a bit more tenuous, not knowing, leaving the understanding of the association between gender identity and this common problem incomplete. Yeah, this is important. Moreover, it remains unclear whether involvement in bullying is similar across gender minority identities, if they differ in that respect. This was a survey, bear in mind. It's people reporting their experience. It's quite difficult maybe to measure this, but it means that some people might not be being very truthful. There's always issues when it comes to surveys. And again, listen, I say this kind of thing when I read pro-trans studies. I'm not going to suddenly have a different standard for this kind of thing when it's this kind of thing, you know? Okay, implausible, likely, facetious responding. So there's some attempt to control for this, of course. Portion of those reporting belonging to minorities appears implausibly high. Association between minority status, psychosocial problems are overestimated. So higher experience of being bullied in comprehensive school sample than in upper secondary school. So opposite sex identification first yielded over twofold odds. Non-binary identity yielded over fourfold odds for being bullied. Statistically significant association between non-binary identity and being bullied persisted among the comprehensive school sample. Strong correlation between, yeah, this is the thing. So where you're seeing groups that are like more likely to have been bullied, they're also more likely to have bullied as well. Table 4 presents association between gender identity perpetrating bullying among the comprehensive school upper secondary education samples before and after controlling and confounding. Throughout our models, the associations between gender minority identities and perpetrating bullying were stronger than the associations between gender minorities and being bullied. So yeah, they probably are bullied more, but they're also bullying more at the same time. And it gets a bit chicken and the egg, you know. Some of these will have been perpetrating bullying and then got shit back. Some of them will have been bullied first and then started lashing out at others. It certainly can go both ways. In the comprehensive school sample, all transgender youth had over fourfold odds of perpetrating bullying. Comparison to the comprehensive school sample, odds of perpetrating bullying were lower for the opposite sex identifying, higher for the non-binary identifying youth in upper secondary school. Associations between opposite sex identification, non-binary identity with perpetrating bullying grew stronger when age and sex were added to the model, but diminished when confounding by family variables, alcohol consumption, mental health variables, perpetrating bullying. In the comprehensive school sample, the association between gender identity, perpetrating bullying nevertheless persisted as statistically significant among both opposite sex and non-binary youth. So the association was stronger among opposite sex identifying youth. In upper secondary education, association persisted statistically only among non-binary youth. Notably, the final models revealed a strong association in both samples between being bullied and bullying others. The association was stronger among secondary education sample. Positive associations between perpetrating bullying, difficulty communicating with parents, alcohol consumption found in both samples. I mean, this kind of goes without saying, right? You have a shit time at home. That is a big kind of predictor for if you're going to bully. Anxiety but not depression was also positively associated with perpetrating bullying. Both samples, a negative association between natal female sex and perpetrating bullying was found. Both are associated with both being bullied and bullying others, even when a range of variables, including internal stress, involvement in bullying and the opposite role, are taken into account. Could suggest that the development of transgender identity and non-binary identity is an additional stress for youth as they navigate the already developmentally challenging years of adolescence towards adulthood. Is this maybe a case that we shouldn't be encouraging this kind of thing? I don't know. You've got your whole life to figure out your fucking identity, let's be real. Programs that promote gender diversity should be implemented in schools. The aim of reducing heteronormativity, promoting the acceptance of gender diversity. I don't really agree with this. A lot of this like label shit is not helpful. It's probably not helping their education. It probably, if you're like encouraging people to take on labels and stuff, you're not kind of encouraging people to like other each other, put themselves into certain camps and dislike people in different camps, you know, that kind of thing. Teachers, parents, healthcare workers must consider gender and minority youth are not necessarily only victims, but also perpetrators of bullying. Yeah, this is important. So yeah, bullying bad. What have we learned? Lots. Amazing. That's quite interesting.